Well, good evening. I'm your host, Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom. And tonight, 7 reasons why life mirrors railroad tracks. Now sit back and relax. Pretend or imagine you're the conductor of your life experiences, events, encounters, and events. As you sit there, you're the conductor, sitting in the conductor seat, understanding and embodying. You encompass the wisdom and inspiration and clarity to design your desired lifestyle as we leave where you're at, as we rise out of yesterday's mundane ways, hitting the train whistle, showing, awakening the universe that we're on our train of fame and wanderer's lure, harmonizing energetic liberation, stimulating trailblazer lure, and energizes your endeavoring audacity as you push on the throttle of revolutionary revelations. Opens your beautifully poetic paths of enlightenment to energetically listen, witness, and observe your life as through your colorful imagination, fervor, elegance, realizing and admitting railroad tracks mirrors my internal voyage on one track and my external journey on the other track. Electrifies my electrifies my torchbearer fame. Let's fly, my gamer's gumption. That suffers youth forward, that sheds, shreds, and communicates away all your viewpoints, opinion, and beliefs that shape your cognitive recollections from your past decisions and experiences. Opens a way for you to listen, witness, and observe the earthly sceneries as you're traveling down the tracks. Just imagine you're leaving wherever you want to leave from, but just imagine you're leaving from, let's just say, St. Louis, Missouri, just mirroring the wagon trains as you're headed west towards the Pacific Ocean, as you're witnessing crossing the Mississippi onto the prairies of Nebraska, South Dakota, uh, Missouri, as you're traveling in the train, as you're sitting in the conductor seat, just proud and loud, listening, observing, and unsheathing dreamer's dexterity, as the earthly scenarios and scenery start rising and looking different, just like your dreams and desired lifestyle. They look different today than they did yesterday because your eyes are open, and you hearken and embody the wisdom of your dreams. See, that's something we've never do is hearken the wisdom of our dreams and the innovative, witted grit, get and go of our dreams. We try to do it. We try to experience our dreams through our thinking and knowing, but we never hearken to wisdom and enlightenment of our dreams, desired lifestyle, and our accomplished outcomes. We try to go to everything rather than receive and manifest the mystical, magical energy of our dreams and desired lifestyle. So as we're going through this, we're going to come to the where the trains veer to the right, to the left, or go straight. We're going to hit the switch, and go whatever direction you desire. But I'm going to hit the switch and head towards the Teton Mountains of Wyoming. As I as we're coasting through the the mountain desert of Wyoming, we see the sagebrush, the red hills, the rolling scoria hills. But we're enjoying the relaxing scenery as we hit the switch we hit the switch, breaking free from yesterday's dismay, clearing your pathways of enlightenment to ask, why does indoctrinated education and third world enslaving mindset keep the world on the railroad tracks to nowhere? Because I've observed for the last year, we're going down the same tracks, trying to do the same thing, but we have education on one track, business on the other, and everything's in between. But we're going straight to nowhere. Yeah, we may be making money, we may be doing this, but we've lost the communication skills and the understanding people are equal. And that is something I really understand. You know, people, money is a material chattel. Wisdom, insight, clarity, intuition, imagination of each individual is their free flowing energy to rise the world out of yesterday. It is people's sleek, unique talents and uh, innovative wisdom that's going to rise the world out of where we're at. Because if you look at the world, we've been on the same train tracks going straight ahead, but we've not risen out of anything. However, as we stop reinforcing the established norms, shaping people's perspective in ways that limit innovation or critical thinking, because this is control over thought and economics. Education molds minds to follow existing systems, while business reinforces economic dependence, keeping society locked in predefined trajectories rather than energizing innovative innovation. And you encompass the energizing, enterprising innovation to experience the endless motion of yesterday's dismay without any ever experiencing the here and now evolution, like trains moving forward yet never shifting directions. We keep going the same as we're going across the bottom of Wyoming. It looks the same. It's red desert on this side and desert on this side, just high mountain desert, looking unique but bland. And as we pull into Rock Springs, with the train veers to the north towards Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So as we go on towards Jackson Hole, we start getting out of the scenery of the desert, opening up to the tranquility and now quality of the Teton Mountain. As we're looking, we see the granddaddy of them all moving forward. The Grand Teton and its bare rocks is just standing tall. It rises us out of the survival mode rises out of the survival mode of our ancestors' programming, opening our innovation, allowing breakthroughs to bust out of yesterday to innovate industries and empower communities to rise, shine, and energize their way to evermore. And it's and we're and one thing this does, it puts dependency on systems over liberation. These systems create reliance on external forces rather than fostering autonomous expansion, ensuring that entire populations remain on a path dictated by others. Does that look familiar today? Are we on a path dictated by others? Instead of forging our own here and now nirvana with forward-looking, forthright frequencies of easy. And see, that's the thing. The frequencies of easy open the way for us to play on our fields of prosperity. And see, that's the thing. We're on a train track. And once that train track's on the level and going, it's easy. And to get off of that, when we started north towards the Tetons and the Grand Tetons and the Teton Mountains and all the bliss in northwestern Wyoming, it become hilly, rocky, and there become some challenges that enlighten your pioneering prowess to understand life is a pioneering path for us to rise, shine, and move forward. So this opened up for me to ask, why does my thinking knowing mind or your thinking knowing mind mirror railroad tracks? That's an interesting way to describe your thinking. When your mind mirrors railroad tracks, it could mean that you see your thoughts as structured, following a steady path, or bound by certain constraints. Some people that think their minds run on fixed routes, habitual ways of thinking and knowing, shaped by experiences, education, or social, societal expectations. And we're trying to please other people, staying away from our internal fortitude and intrinsic intestinal innovation. As others might see parallel tracks as symbolic or dual perspectives like logic and emotion, past and future, or discipline and creativity, always running alongside each other, but never quite merging. That's what happens when the train tracks hit the roundabout and they come around and they get on back. But it's your innovation and your internal frequencies of foresight that bring your train tracks together, cutting away yesterday's rat-a-tat crap, opening up today's free-flowing energy of intuition, imagination, innovation, and inspiration to rise, shine, and open your divine daredevilry. Yeah, because railroad tracks also represent movement, momentum, and the scenarios of switching directions and going up the Teton to look at the beautiful Idaho landscape. And there is a tram up there at Teton Village that you can ride to the top of Teton Village, up to the top of the Tetons. If you ever want to go see something scenic and beautiful, that's where you can go. But if you're feeling like your thoughts are stuck on a predetermined path, there's always moments of choice that points you where you can rise and ride the rails of rebellious audacity, invigorating, liberating savvy, and to explore the fresh ways of seeing the world through your enterprising eyes of wise and your ears of seer savvy. And here's the question: what does the train tracks mean to you? This is a metaphor just to realize how thinking and knowing keep you going straight, but never let you outside of the train track. Everything's inside the train tracks. And everything inside them train tracks are weeds. Everything rises, but very seldom green grass for people to rise. But how does that see that? How do you see them train tracks be in your life? How does the train tracks of today seem like the train tracks of yesterday? Because until you rise out of the thinking, knowing of your life, everything went backwards or stays the same. Because you think and know your way to yesterday. And see, if you think life mirrors railroad tracks, may suggest a sense of structure. Your thoughts follow a steady, predictable path, and as your mind is moving in one direction, with little deviation, much like a train bound to tracks where it goes from St. Louis to Rock Springs. It's just a flat way to go. That could mean routine discipline or a well-defined way of analyzing the world. How do you analyze the world through your thinking, knowing mind? Never ever seeing your scenarios of Son of the Fun splendor. We stay on these railroad tracks and they just imply limitations. We can't go this way or that way because the tracks are going this way. But how about if you become the builder of your own railroad tracks? With spurs of stunning prosperity, unleashing rebellious energy to take your railroad tracks and go off towards wherever you want to. Or just get on a horse, getting rid of the train and getting on a horse and just riding through the prairies. But it's something I really realize, and I've done this and I experienced this in my own life. People, we are afraid of failure. But failure is the pathway of enlightenment to experience your stunning success, feeling blessed with a bold, lively, energizing, sovereign savvy to enjoy your daily experiences through listening and energizing. But the train tracks of life keep us going this way. And something I've really, really noticed over the last 10 years, we've been doing everything through business and education. Where has it got us? When you're really honest with yourself, where has business and education got us? So on the same, we're stuck in between the train tracks of education and business, but it's going straight down. And if you don't follow that, if you don't follow them tracks, people are afraid, or you're afraid. And something I discovered is everything in them, on them train tracks and business and education, is what other people are predicating to us. And that's what they want us to follow. And the world is stuck in a whirlwind of of, of scarcity and fear. Because, oh, if I ain't as successful as the other guy, I'm a failure. That's a lie. When you're willing to step out and entrust your agility, ability, audacity, and acumen, you're going to rise. And yes, are you going to have some ride the rails of failure? Yeah, because you're going to fail your way to success. That is something I've really started to understand in all this. You're going to fail your way to success. Failure is the first adventurous, ingenious, liberating, ubiquitous, rebellious energy to chauffeur you away from socialized sabotage that's in you. See, we've been taught, oh, you failed. No. The ones that fail is the one that never gets off the couch of grouch and itching or bitching about everything in life. And something else I really understand more than I ever have. You know, why am I thinking and knowing mere railroad tracks to nowhere? Conditioned thinking, habitual thinking and knowing, your thoughts may follow predetermined paths shaped by past experiences, societal norms. And that's what we do because what we've always done is a comfort zone of, of programming. So if we keep doing it, but expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity. Who's ever done that? Pick me, I've done it. And still do. But it's about admitting things you do to rise and go forward. But one thing about thinking and knowing, it lacks divine destination in your dreams. You can think your way to a goal, but your goal is always inside the train tracks. It's the liberation of leisure that opens you up to the other thing. And, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm in that turnaround just going in circles. Mad, angry, frustrated at life because I didn't appreciate and experience the liberating invitation, fostering the emancipating events, encounters, and experiences to rise out of that situation. That's what life really is. It's liberating invitation, fostering emancipation, liberating me from me. And see, one thing about the thinking, memory, mind education, they give you the illusion of choices. Even when there are switches from external forces, often dictate the direction. The challenge is recognizing that you can step off the train and onto the prairie of prosperity and be unlimited and see the world unfold in front of your eyes. But as you open up to understand this, you understand that thinking and knowing are rigid paths with limited autonomy, just like the railroad tracks dictate where a train can go. And when you're stuck in your comfort zone cloning, you're afraid to go outside of the indoctrinated education and exploitative economic system that create predetermined path. How's everything in life really? If you look at all the education, the business, the corporation, ain't that a predetermined path? Restricting sovereign savvy or upward mobility. Individuals are often guided into roles that serve existing structures rather than empowering you and me to break free. Because it's kind of an endless motion without true progress. Trains move forward, but the direction is controlled by external forces. How does that feel familiar to you? Education prioritizes conformity, critical thinking, and business models that prioritize cheap labor over equitable opportunities can create cycles where people work hard but never truly advance beyond self-imposed limitations. The engineered dependency of railroad connects places but often reinforces dependence on a central system in the same way outdated education models and exploitative business practices can keep individuals and nations reliant on structures designed by those in power, preventing the here and now autonomy, energetic liberation. Recognizing these cognitive patterns opens your paths of enlightenment and dismantling them. Vigorous empowerment comes from questioning fashion design daredevilry, and fostering sovereign inspiration, being far and away from following the tracks of rat-a-tat-crap, but forges entirely fresh paths of prowess. But as you move forward, the friction of the wheels of the train mirror the friction within you. When you feel the friction of your thinking, knowing mind, your dreams, all is a friction within you. And as you question that, you release the yesterday and you grease today's paths of prosperity. But there's something else here that I want, because two railroad tracks are parallel conditioning. Education and business programming often run side by side, reinforcing systems that prioritize conformity over sovereign inspiration, leaving the individuals caught between learning and labor without not true autonomy. We're having the illusion of progress because people are getting left behind because we're forgetting people people can move forward, but everybody there's the hourly workers in the blue collar, they are uh the movers of your everyday life, and they move you forward. Anybody time we forgot the people, when you forget the people, the autodidact entrepreneurs or the hourly workers, your country soon goes down. And you can say this country is prosperous, but is it prosperous? That's something you got to decide for yourself. But anyway, you got to clear your paths of enlightenment beyond and open up to the liberated paths that exist beyond the rails of fail, energizing your rails of revolutionary, adventurous, intuitive, liberating, sovereign, savvy to clear your trails of triumph that chauffeurs you onto your seashores of bountiful bliss, kissing your lush leisure and enjoying life to enjoy your venturer's vitality. And see, when you rise out of being the indoctrined education, your ancestor programming, and your own programming, you rise out of the rise. You rise out of yesterday's uh, limitations. There's as we're going to end this, I want you to feel and think and pretend or imagine you're starting in LA, Los Angeles, California, and you're riding the rails up the Pacific Ocean, enjoying the views of the great Pacific Ocean and all the mountains that run beside the oceans, all the way up as you're going through Washington, Canada, Ketchikan, Alaska, which is beautiful, on up to the Haines, Alaska, up to now you're on the Denali Railroad. You're riding north to the Arctic Circle. As you enjoy watching the wildlife, the grizzlies, all the wildlife of Alaska, as you enjoy the pristine scenery, you're starting to realize that pristine scenery is inside you. Now you color and design and sculpt your desired lifestyle in a bold, bright way. As I want to say thank you for this, and may your life be as blessed as you're a blessing to me and the world.